Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
And with that, welcome to America's Heroes Group, our roundtable with our partner, Hines VA Women's Health Care. Today is Saturday, January 21st, 2023. January is Cervical Cancer Awareness and National Blood Donor Month. Our host is Kelley, you heard at the top. I'm Sean Claiborne, the co-host. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith, and our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega of Scouts Honor Productions. Now we have a panelist with us, Karissa, LeCaptain. She's a health and wellness coach with the Hines VA Hospital. And we're going to talk about the role of a health and wellness coach. How you doing today?
I am well. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Very excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to talking further with you.
So tell us about this. So Veterans Health Administration is advancing an approach to healthcare called Whole Health. Tell me more about Whole Health. What is that all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Whole Health is an approach to healthcare for veterans to empower and equip veterans on their health and wellness journey. For veterans to take control of their health and well-being and to live life to the fullest. It's asking the question, what matters to you instead of what is the matter with you? Bringing the focus of what's going right and not just what's wrong. And Whole Health is treating the whole person, not just the diagnoses, not the symptoms or challenges. It's the whole person, and really emphasizing self-care in a larger context of well-being. And when focusing on the whole person and the veteran and why they want their health, Whole Health is individualized care. And so it humanizes the veteran and increases engagement for both, women veterans and clinicians.
So how is it different for women?
So for Whole Health for women, each moment matters in a woman veteran's experience at the VA. So women veterans notice when clinicians take the time to ask, what do you want your health for? What about your health matters to you? And with listening and showing empathy and compassion, that demonstrates to women veterans that they're being heard, cared for, and seen as a whole person. Whole Health is meant to assist veterans to be able to connect with their health care team and feel safe and cared for. Women veterans want to have their story to be heard and want to build trust with their health care team, and building relationships with their health care team is a part of developing that trust.
Let me give some people some background about what you do. So you're a national board certified health and wellness coach. You serve as a health and wellness coach at the Hines VA, and you're basically trying to help veterans achieve a health and wellness goals. So what I think is really important is to try to define goals. Is it easy to get that to that point where a veteran is able to communicate and open up and say, this is what matters to me, this is what's important to me? I do like that approach where you're talking about you're just not focusing on the negative, but focusing on also what's working to reinforce that positive behavior. So let me know, how do you define goals and how easy is it to do that?
Yeah, great. Thank you for asking that. And it is. It's asking, like you said, asking what matters most to them. And goals, with working with, let's say, particularly with a coach. Like as a health coach, when working with a veteran in, creating goals, it's looking at all aspects of their health. Our health, has many aspects. Our, physical well-being, mental, emotional, sleep recharge, surroundings, connections with family, friends, coworkers, personal development, a mindful awareness. All these things make up our health. And so, looking at one's health as a whole, when working with a health coach, a veteran, a coach asks veteran, kind of where they're at in their health in all these aspects, and and based on what matters most to them, looking at that as a whole, are they satisfied in these aspects of their health? Are they living in line with what matters most to them, their values, their mission, aspiration, purpose? And maybe they have some areas in their health where their strengths, it's great. It's in balance. And maybe there's some areas in their health and wellness that maybe isn't in line with what their values are and what matters most. And so, with that coming in perspective, when realizing that, then it's, okay, well, where do you want to go from there? It's like, what do you want to see improve? And so maybe, that's individualized. And so when setting real goals, you know you better than anyone else when it comes to your health and wellness. And so to set realistic goals, a coach is to help partner with that person in looking, when setting realistic goals. Is it smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, SMART goals? And that's what helps an individual being more detailed. The coach helps really kind of get into the nitty gritty instead of kind of the over, maybe a broader goal that's not so SMART goal. Is, maybe it's, for example, if someone says, I want to lose weight. Well, that's where a coach helps a person, a veteran, dig a deeper. What about that? What is important of that goal? What would you gain? And what would it look like? Is it, maybe it's setting a SMART goal in getting a little bit more activity or better sleep. Maybe that is where they start. But then, making incremental steps. And it's meeting that person where they're at. Maybe this person's never stepped, a foot in the gym and is intimidated. That's okay. We don't have to go. You don't have to make all or nothing changes when making healthy lifestyle changes. It's making incremental steps. Maybe it's starting off with, getting shoes, getting nice shoes, to walk outside in. And maybe it's starting to, walking down the street to the mailbox and back. It's, where sometimes making changes can be overwhelming and, not sure where to start. And where with a coach, it's to help take that overwhelmingness and make it manageable, breaking it down to manageable steps where it's, small steps. It's meeting the veteran where they're at and where they feel confident and empowered. The big thing is being empowered to make those changes.
Well, I really liked what you said about taking it in small steps and incremental steps. It reminds me of a story. And there's a psychologist told this story about how he learned how to play guitar. And so he got a really nice guitar. I always wanted to play guitar. I was always a big fan of guitar players and knew the history of all these different guitar players, but never did it through his, high school, never did it in college. And then as an adult, somebody gave him a dream guitar. So he put it in a closet. He had a nice box and everything like that, had it sitting in the closet. And he said, okay, one day I'm going to go out and I'm going to start learning how to play this guitar. So he did that for like 10 years and never played the guitar. And it's an expensive, beautiful guitar. So then one day he took it out and using his own research, he said, I'm going to take this guitar, I'm going to put it right by my bed. So he put it by the bed. And then every now and again, he would come home, maybe had a hard day at work or feeling depressed, and he just had a habit of just grabbing that guitar and started hitting the strings. Didn't know what he was doing at first, but then now fast forward another 5 or 7 years of doing that every now and again, just as a habit, coming in the bedroom, grab that guitar, put it on his lap, playing with it for about 25 minutes to half an hour. Next thing you know, he's playing with it for an hour or two. Next thing you know, he's playing songs. Taking an incremental step of just removing those barriers, getting the right shoes, for example. Now I can maybe just go outside. And maybe I don't like going outside because my feet hurt. But now I got the right shoes. I can go outside and, now that's the first step into the fitness. You seem to have a lot of compassion for what you do. How did you get this compassion? And tell me more about that. How did you develop this compassion for the work that you do, and how does it fulfill you?
I appreciate you asking that. I do, being a health coach, I love the opportunity to assist someone on their wellness journey, and them feeling comfortable and honest to allow me to be a part of their wellness journey and to share their personal health and life. And to be a part of that, to be a footnote, to help them and be a positive light so that they can keep moving forward in their health and wellness journey. I greatly appreciate just that connection with someone to be a part of their wellness journey. And, as coaching, I love working with individuals, and when, hearing them come up with their own answers, because as a coach, I don't create their plan for them. That's not empowering. And as a coach, when asking thought-provoking questions and helping them arrive to their own answers and hearing the change talk from, I can't do it, to, I did it. I didn't think I could, but I did it. And I think I want to do this or this, seeing that change talk and, hearing them come up with their own solutions and their perspective changing on what was once maybe limiting beliefs to now the possibilities. It's just like, yes, like you had it in you the whole time. It was just a matter of like pulling it out. And like, that's something that I love as, being a coach is seeing them, it's them doing, that's their success, not my success. It's their success.
Wow. That's really inspiring. The fact that you let them own their own success and at the same time, but then help them do what a coach really should do, which is help them take that next step and move forward. I think that's so important, particularly from a veteran's perspective. When you first meet a new patient or a new client, is it difficult to get them to open up? How long does it take for you to really get to that point where they're really trusting you and actually confiding in you and telling you what their goals are and telling you what they want to do and taking that first step?
Yeah, it varies from individuals. Some individuals are really open and, they understand what coaching entails because we first go over the coaching agreement where, I am upfront and share what my role is as their coach and partner through their wellness journey and what their role and what my role and their role is. And we, go over in personal health inventory, which, we call it the circle of health. And, it's a way where an individual assesses their health, like I was speaking to before, in different aspects, like about like surroundings, food and drink, like all those different aspects. And, having a conversation, that's where we talk a little bit more, and some, share more right away. Some, it may take a session or two to feel that connection or feel comfortable. And, that's something that has to happen over time. Some individuals feel really, want to open up right away. And some, it may take a session or two or so to build up that partnership and, the connection with the coach and the trust. And so that's something that, to build rapport, it may take time and, in allowing that space, you can't rush things. Mm-hmm. It's meeting the person where they're at. You can't rush it.
Mm-hmm. So you talked a little bit about the personal health inventory, or the PHI, I guess is what you guys call it in your field. Can you explain a little bit more about that in detail? And then when you're going through this process, it seems like that's how you get to the goals, or to define the goals. How do you then determine, because you mentioned this a little bit earlier, coming back to that, how do you determine if whether or not a goal is realistic or achievable?
Yeah, great question. I actually, I'll show you a little bit. This is a visual of the personal health inventory. And so we ask kindly, as a coach, ask kindly for our veterans to fill out prior to our session. And what's on it is, it asks, first it asks, what you want your health for, what is important, because, when making changes, if we can, when aligning with what value it brings, why is that important? More likely, there's more, there's more desire, there's more motivation when we connect with why is even important to make a change. What is it that you want your health for? So, for example, some veteran may want their health to be able to run around with the grandkids, or, be able to travel and not have certain ailments, or to overcome that. And so connecting what that bigger picture is. And then from there, looking at, the different components, and they rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not satisfied, 5 being very satisfied. And so, ratings oneself and how satisfied you are in different aspects of your health, because each aspect can kind of impact one another, and they're all interconnected. And so with that being said, when rating on oneself, doing it with no judgment, it's just, a way for an individual to really connect with oneself, have an honest conversation, not to be judgmental. This personal health inventory is something that is, for your own benefit, and to, bring into awareness of where you are at. And that's what a lot of feedback get too, is some individuals weren't, were kind of surprised in some aspects. Some weren't, and from there, asking, okay, if looking at what the health you want to have, where would you start? And so some, may want to start in, maybe it's in food and drink, or maybe it's sleep and recharge, personal development, maybe it's stress management, some, that kind of area. And from there, when looking at making real goals, okay, it's looking at where do you want to start? What's realistic? Asking there. And again, when you said how to make realistic goals, it's diving into the little nitty gritty part of it. When making a goal, it can be, what is it? It can be short term, it can be long term, but it's asking the veteran what is realistic, what they feel confidence. If they feel that this goal is, a 0 out of 10 confidence, okay, well, let's revisit. What would make that, a 5 or a 6 instead of a 0? What would increase that confidence? And so sometimes when, big aspirations and great intentions, because one's excited, it's, where a coach kind of, asks those really, bigger questions of, what is realistic? And that's where we can take it down or we can rev it up. But it's, really it's asking that person, is that realistic? And sometimes then it's, going into detail. Like some individuals, maybe it's getting, really setting a routine, a daily routine to, have more structure to be able to, have the self-care strategies they want to have. Maybe it's, getting resources to, be able to do the activities or to reach the goal. And so it's, assessing what all, that SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, that SMART goal, that's kind of, how we utilize that acronym to set realistic goals.
Wow.
And then personal health plan to go with it.
Mm-hmm. I like that because the reason why I bring that up is because in media today, particularly social media, we're hearing a lot of health experts talk about just giving these downer information, telling people that, pretty much a lot of times we're hearing that, everything we thought about, we knew about health is wrong. The food pyramid is wrong. Counting calories is wrong. Exercising won't help you lose weight. Don't eat this, do eat that. Atkins is okay. Atkins is not okay. And then so people tend to get confused, and then it seems like the research is also saying that most people that go on these journeys for a better health don't attain the health that they're trying to achieve because either they started for a little while or they fall off the wagon, but they end up right back to where they were square one. But it sounds like in the approach that you're doing, you're taking, it seems like you have more success. Can you speak to that just a little bit, maybe in another minute or two, then we get to our last question, but speak to that, how does why is your program so much more successful than what most people end up doing on their own?
Yeah, no, appreciate you asking that. With Whole Health, we have, we not just only have health coaching, there's other Whole Health is a big umbrella. And so there's other resources and, it's a culture change too. It's where, a veterans primary care team is a part of their wellness journey. And, there's different modalities too. There's complementary integrative health approaches where, one can get chiropractic, acupuncture, or there's Tai Chi, mindfulness, yoga. There's different, approaches that way that along with traditional medicine approaches. So there's, different avenues where a veteran can, engage in their health in these different modalities as well as with coaching and having, the different, a whole healthcare team, a part of, in their corner as they, work on their health or improve it and working towards, their best healthy version of themselves.
So basically, is this a way that what you just mentioned, is that a way that the VA helps connect veterans with resources in their community and also connect them with other things? Speak to about a little bit and give people an idea about what types of things and resources. But you mentioned acupuncture, you mentioned having a team in your corner. What are some of the things that will help them get connected and stay focused on the path to better health?
Yeah, great question. Veterans, if they did want to have acupuncture or chiropractic, they can reach out to their primary care provider and they can put in a consult for them that, there's like at Hines, we do have chiropractic and acupuncture in hospital. And then there's also in the community. So it's, veterans can get both in and outside of the community. It's a matter of, asking their primary care team, that their team in their corner. And so, asking their healthcare team, for those referrals. Also at Hines, we have our rec therapy program. They do they have yoga, they have creative art therapies. So it's, there's resources within the VA, and their healthcare team can, help assist with getting, in touch, in tune with those resources, as well as, if the VA can't provide it, with inside, and then there's also the community and connecting. And so, and with, working with a part of, as with a team, it's collaborating together to help assist the veteran. Maybe a primary care provider, veterans shared, wanted to maybe make changes in, getting more activity or wherever, setting specific goals. They may then refer to a health coach to help kind of with exactly those specifics to be successful, creating that plan, their own personal plan, whereas, they may have the knowledge or information. It's just how do I get there? It's from getting, bridging that gap. And so that's where they can be like, well, let's get you connected with the health coach. So, we've talked about this in our, appointment. The health coach can, help you and co-creating your plan so you can be successful. So how does that, resonate with you?
I think that what it sounds like to me is that I hear fun. To me, when you talk about the community and talk about all these different programs, to me, fun is what comes to mind to try to bring everybody together and also make sure that people are on focus. Because if it's fun and people want to do it, then that makes all the difference in the world. And having somebody in your corner, having a team behind you to support you, that makes all the difference in the world. I really appreciate your time.
You don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. Karissa, LeCaptain, health and wellness coach with the Hines VA Hospital. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate your time as well, and thanks for having me.
This is America's Heroes Group. We'll be right back.